Hey, fourth graders. So this is your Math 4.3, 4-3 for Wednesday, December 9th. Happy birthday, Luis, by the way. And today we are going to be doing a page together. So that way when we're live, we can move forward a little bit more. So please get your math workbooks, the thick, regular math workbooks out. And we're going to go to page 143. I'm going to give you a second to do that while I share my screen. And I will write the page number up on top of the page so you can get there. All right, here we go. Let me put page 143. I hope that you have your math books. They should be nearby. And today, the reason I decided to do a page together is because we did the same idea of skills yesterday when we talked about inverse with addition and subtraction. We talked about how inverse undoes the other operation and how it's kind of the opposite. And we use fact families and we have similar numbers. So that's what we're going to be talking about again today, except our operations are going to be multiplication and division. So I'm going to jot these down. And I hope that you remember the whole idea of inverse. For example, if I have 18 equals 6 times 3, well, I can also say 18 divided by 6 equals 3. So now I'm using a different operation. I'm using division, but I'm using the same numbers and just switching where the signs are and where my equal signs are. Okay, so you should all be now on page 143. And we are going to be looking at this rectangle model. Yesterday, we also looked at sort of that tall triangular model where we can put our total or our sums at the top and we put our add-ins at the bottom. Well, this is just another model. We're calling it a rectangle model, and we're going to use it to come up with equations, talk about inverse with multiplication and division. Okay, here we go. We're going to read through this together, so follow along. Multiplication and division are inverse operations. They undo each other. A factor pair for a number is a pair of whole numbers whose product is that number. Here's an example. A factor pair for 15 is 3 and 5. Okay, so that's a really good example. I'm going to highlight that. Feel free to highlight or underline as well in your book. That'll just show you one more. So the factor pair is just the two numbers. Those are factors when we talk about multiplication, and they equal 15. Okay? So here's the rectangle model, and this shows another factor pair for a product. This should look super familiar to you, okay? Thinking about area, thinking about fast fact arrays. Okay, here we go. We're going to answer these questions. Using the rectangle model, which numbers above are the factors and where are they located? So when you look at the rectangle, which ones are the factors and where are they? I'll give you a second to jot that down. So here's our rectangle. There are 3 numbers that we're looking at. Those are our choices, okay? I hope you said the factors are 7 and 9. There they are. Those are the factors. If you didn't, please write this down in your book. And where are they? They are outside along the sides. Okay, let's move on to the next one, number 2. Now it's asking which one is the product. So again, you have 3 numbers to choose from, and where is the product located? Now you kind of have an idea of what we're talking about. This one should be a little faster for you. Looking for the product. These were looking for factors. So I hope you said the product is 63. That's the total. And when it asks, where is it? Inside the rectangle. Okay, so there's the product. Just like when we look for area, we do length times width equals our area, the inside measurement. Okay, all right, let's keep moving. We're down to the next one. So this is going to just show us something. So we're just going to be using the rectangle model, and we're going to look at these equations. A rectangle model can help you find all 8 related multiplication and division equations for 2 factors. You can write these equations for the rectangle model above. Okay, so again, there are 8 related multiplication and division equations. Now let's take a look at how they're done, because using the inverse, we can think of factor times factor, and then we can take it the other way. So for example, we're doing 7 times 9 equals 63. Then we flip it, the commutative, 9 times 7 equals 63, okay? That's real simple. We can use our factors, and to get 2 more equations, we can put the answer, the product, at the beginning of our equation. So we can say 63 equals 7 times 9, and we can do it again, just flipping our factors, start with the product, 63 equals 9 times 7. Okay, so we always can have 4 of each operation, depending on if we put the product at the beginning of the equation or the end of the equation. Now to get our last 4, we're going to use division. That's where we're going to be looking at the product first. That'll give us 2 equations. So let's see. Start with the total, the product 63. Pick any factor, divided by 9. What's left? It equals 7. Do it again, but flip-flop your factors. So 63 divided by 7 equals 9. Okay? So you can do it that way. Now, just like we did with multiplication, we can start with one of the factors as the equal. So we can say 7 equals 63 divided by 9, the other factor. And then we'll flip it. So we'll start with the other factor, 9 equals 63 divided by 7. And that's how you'll get your other 2 equations. So there'll always be 8. Just like yesterday, we had 8 with our addition and subtraction. Okay? All right. So now we get to try it ourselves. Now we're going to write the 8 related equations for multiplication and division using this rectangle model. We don't have to do any of the math. It's been done for us. Our 3 numbers, 2 factors, 8 and 12, and it equals the product 96. So let's start really simply. Let's do factor times factor, okay? Here we go. We can make 8 times 12 equals 96. I want you to write these down also, okay? Let's still keep the product at the end, but let's flip-flop our factors. So now I'll say 12 times 8 equals 96. Okay, that seems fairly straightforward. Now let's put our product at the beginning. Let's start with it. It's pretty much just this, and I can follow it backwards. So I'm just gonna make 96 equal 12 times 8. That's this one, just looking at it backwards. Again, let's start. We've got one more. We start with the product. 96 can now equal 8 times 12. I just flip-flopped my factors and I put the product at the beginning instead of at the end. Okay? Now we have 4 more. These will be our division. So we have 4 multiplication, 4 division. Okay, let's do the easiest ones, for me at least, first. We'll start with our total, 96 divided by, pick either factor. I'm going to go 12. And what's left is the factor 8. Okay? Let's do it, but let's flip-flop our factors. Still going to start with my product. The total is 96. This time I'm going to divide by 8. What's left? It equals 12. That's the other factor. Okay? Now, just like we did up here, we can take these and just take it backwards. But there's one trick to writing these. So watch this carefully. If I start with one of the factors, 8, just following backwards in the equation, equals, I can't say 12 divided by 96. We know division has to start with the total. So I'm going to say 8 equals 96 divided by 12. Okay? So make sure that this part starts with the total, the product. Okay? And then finally, again, I'll just take the other factor, 12 equals, again, I can't say 8 divided by 96. That doesn't make sense. I start with the total, 96 divided by 8. And there you have your 8 equations. So I hope you have all of this down. You should have been doing this page with me. And now we'll be ready to move on. Now that we got a little bit of practice, we're going to start making some equations in class together. You guys will have some team time, some partner work, even a puzzled penguin. All right, you guys, I'll see you soon for math.